We might not be in a state of war, but we are in a state of emergency, unprecedented for generation. Central to all this, and certainly of most concern to me, is the role of the Supreme Court. In India today, every institution, mechanism, or tool that is designed to hold the executive accountable is being systematically destroyed. But the most worrying of all is the state of judiciary. There are many important issues that need to be deliberated upon today. With Parliament already so weakened, the Supreme Court would have been the next best place to discuss the Kashmir bifurcation, the constitutional validity of the Citizenship Amendment Act, suppression and criminalization of protests against the law, misuse of draconian laws like sedition and the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, electoral bonds, etc. Sadly, most of these are ignored or brushed aside or mysteriously kept pending for an indefinite period of time. We might not be in a state of war, but we are in a state of emergency, unprecedented for generation. Central to all this, and certainly of most concern to me, is the role of the Supreme Court. A news report by the Indian Express showed that of the recent 10 most important judgments of the Supreme Court on free speech, only 4 were decided in favor of the persons claiming the right to free speech. Critically, in all 4 of these cases, the government either supported the petitioner or expressed no objection. In contrast, wherever the government opposed, the cases failed. This is how the court seems to be turning in all matters. The court generally is becoming more prickly when it comes to issues of free speech, as evidenced in the most recent Prashant Bhushan case. In a display of self-proclaimed magnanimity, the court let off Mr. Bhushan with a fine of 1 rupee for the contempt case against him over 2 quits, but not without chastising his conduct. In the entire proceedings, one thing was clear: the court came across as an intolerant institution. The truth is that the era of the Supreme Court's glorious jurisprudence has all vanished. We seem to have only memories of its illustrious past to reminisce upon today. This abuse of the UAPA and constant rejection of bail applications of accused as a means of silencing opposite voices can be seen most in the Bhima Koregaon cases, where mere thought has been elevated to crime. Why are the political establishment and the police so emboldened? Undoubtedly, it is because of the weak judiciary that we have in India today. Indeed, the government is using every imaginable means to silence any or all dissenting opinion and to clamp down on any alternative views that might exist. More problematically, the judiciary is watching all this happen by the sidelines, like a mute spectator without uttering a word. The most stark representation of the court's decline can be seen in the failure to perform as a counter-majoritarian court. I emphasize counter-majoritarianism because it is important to recognize the role of the court in protecting the interests of minorities. The next characteristic contributing to the Supreme Court's decline is in the failure to perform its fundamental role as adjudicator itself. In the Kashmir case, it has practically abdicated its role as a court. There is also a pattern of judicial evasion being followed by the court in Kashmir cases when petition as to how the internet shutdown was affecting the public health delivery system in J&K, the Supreme Court told the petitioner to approach the High Court to avail the appropriate legal remedy. The over 1.3 crore population of J&K is suffering with health, education, business and economy all operating at a loss because of the executive's internet shutdown. The Supreme Court seems to simply not want to deal with real world problems at all. To put it bluntly, this is what is happening in India today. In the face of all this, the one institution which has the capacity to turn the tide is the judiciary. Unfortunately, it seems to have lost its way. More than 70 years ago, in the Constituent Assembly, Nehru had said that we needed judges of the highest integrity who would be persons who can stand up against the executive government and whoever might come in their way. I am hopeful that we'll once again be able to see judges like these thrive in India